And we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to VKH Live. Sorry about that big delay. We were having technical issues. We were, yeah, basically had some microphone issues and things like that. So, but we're all set up now. I'm your host, Jeff DeWitt. With me is Winona Peace. How are you doing? Almost.
I'm doing okay. I just came back to New York after a weekend in Atlanta, or like 3 days in Atlanta.
Looking extra X right now.
Extra X, just extra. XXX Tentacion extra.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of X. Yeah, just X's on X's. So yeah, tonight's stream is we're finally covering Duran Gray, which has been like a panging guilt in my head for the last few weeks because like I just keep forgetting, and then like I remember, and then I'm like, oh, and then every time I remember, we have a topic, but been wanting to get to this for a while. So we're just gonna talk about all things Duran Gray, but we're gonna start with the recent news, the most recent news, which was the band dropping their PV preview for what's it called? Ningen wo Kaburu?
Ningen wo Kaburu.
Oh, okay.
Kaburu.
Okay. Yeah, so let's give our initial reactions to that, and I will let you go first, Winona.
Of course. So, see, what was it? It was it a part PV that we saw? It was a preview we saw, right? That came up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the preview was really interesting. I guess my first thoughts were like, wow, so Duran Gray's eating people now, huh? Like they're cannibals, you know? But I thought it was a really very dig visualization. I don't have too much to say about it because I only watched it like 3 times. The first time to make sure that I got it in, the second time to make sure that I saw what I thought I saw, and the third time because what the hell, I really enjoyed it. And I want to say, what was it? I can't quite pinpoint what kind of dystopia they're in there, but it's definitely a dystopia because in the beginning they show the people that they have on their CD covers. They show first the really thin person, and then they show the larger bodied person at the end. So that's implying that they ate the other person already, I guess. I'm not very good at looking at a PV after only 3 watches. As Jeff knows now, I have to watch it like 30,000 times to be able to get the full story, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Oh my God.
We'll get into it another point.
This girl gets crazy with that shit. Oh man.
With PV analyses, I'll have to like watch it like every second. I have to have my eyes on the screen to know exactly what's going on, and I'll pick out things that no one else really saw. Like the Kizu PV I had to like review for a class assignment because I decided, hey, why not? So you're gonna see that go up soon. But like when I sent it to Jeff, like the initial draft of it that I had turned in, he was like, I hadn't seen like any of this in the PV, so I don't know what's necessary.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a thank you from you guys because the version you're gonna see is very, very edited from the
very cut down.
She just went all out, for the class version of it that she did.
Because it had to be like 6 pages, but like.
And oh my God, like, oh wow, like. I was dying from the edge, is what I said, I think, initially.
You're like, I'm dying from melancholy and particle sentences, sentence particles.
You should absolutely do that for this PV, though. Like, you'll probably, if you have another assignment like that, like, maybe we should do a before and after, or like release the uncut one somewhere. Like, just.
The uncut PV review because I have to do it for a big band before I do it for a smaller band, so people don't like attack me. But I should definitely do it for a Duran Gray PV. Send suggestions of what you think I should do. Some suggestions of what you want me to absolutely tear into, and see what I come up with. Oh man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't like. we were really thrown for a loop when we first saw the new image for like artist image for.
Oh yeah, that was real interesting. What was I think Kyo had like green paint on his hands, right? And like somebody, one of our friends was like, what was it, like a fashionable hobo was what they said Kyo looked like. But I thought everyone looked good. I thought it was a nice artist image, but then we started getting some comments on it. And I was like, oh, you aren't wrong. Like,
it does look like 10 times better in the PV itself, though.
It does. It looks a lot better. You don't really see it too much in the actual PV, though. Like, because you see everyone wearing all white. Like, what you see on the CD cover, that's the band in the all white uniforms, I want to say. Whatever. Like, what are words? I'm so sorry. Desanitization outfits, suits, that. They're wearing that, and they're all with their eyes closed, sitting at a table. Person in the middle sitting on a serving dish. They're clearly going to devour, but they don't actually show them eating it, and it just zooms in a lot on just Kyo's face. I think it only zooms in on Kyo's face a couple times, shows you the person on the table a couple times, and you hear the song in the background, which is really nice, by the way. It's classic Dag kind of song. And then cuts to all the information of the single and when it comes out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this music video, because what they showed was literally only bits and pieces of what we might see in the PV overall. And I'm really wondering just how gory this might get, or how much they're going to avoid showing any kind of gore at all. Because there's so much clean. It's so clean in this music video that I'm just like, it can't stay clean the whole time. Like, you know. I really feel like something's gonna end up getting super bloody. It's just so many white walls, so much canvas, so much open canvas for them to mess with.
Yeah, it could, it could. It's absolutely like possible that it's just it's clean all the way through, or it's like what the Gazette did with Ugly, where it's like let's put blood all over it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and it's Duran Gray. Like Duran Gray they can't play us like this.
I don't know. Maybe they're challenging themselves. Maybe they're trying to find a way to disturb us, but like with the most PG-13 aesthetically sanitized, like,
edging, but with gore.
Yeah. Like, I will say, like, like going back to just like the PV, how they looked in the PV versus the picture, like his. Kyo's stained hands like make a lot more sense now. In the picture, it almost looks like he's wearing like goblin gloves or something. Yeah,
I thought they were gloves at first, and then I looked really closely, and I was like, those are the folds of your knuckles. Okay. There's
this band. They're not a Japanese band, but there's this band that I had stumbled across fairly recently called Necrogoblicon. And it's a metalcore, or I don't think it's quite deathcore, but like a metalcore band or something in there. And they're like goblin themed, basically. So like all of their music videos in one way or another have like a CGI or very heavily costumed like goblin and stuff like that. And so I start when James first sent me the image for this, I just sent him like one of their music videos in response, and it's just got like this goblin with his hands the exact same color as like Kyo's hands or whatever. So it's like, I think he's been watching this.
Oh no.
Yeah, but what did you think about the music?
I said it was classic Dag. Like, I don't know how to.
Oh, classic Dag. That's what you were saying.
Classic Dag, classic Duran Gray vibes, but like.
That's not a thing, is it?
The thing. Dag. I type it. You type DEG. I read it as Dag. I don't.
Do you say XD?
It's a thing.
Do you say XD in real life?
I say lol in real life.
Why do you say lol in real life? Oh no, I need to put you.
I'm the worst. I unironically type XD at the end of my messages, and so does Jeff. He's also a culprit.
Yeah, but at least we don't. I mean, I draw the line at RAR XD.
Right, I do not. I will never write that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's almost like that kind of like that new metal kind of sound that they had with songs like Drain Away or Kodo. Do you know what
Mm,
I'm talking about?
I do know what
Like
you're talking about. Yeah.
there's just like that drum pattern like right at the end of it, and then they have the whole melodic thing going on. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a pretty solid single. I wonder how much screaming there will be. Was there screaming in the PV? I don't recall
There's
any.
somebody with a goat head in the PV, apparently. I mean, I'm looking at it again because it's only 30 seconds long, but they show like in a split second, there's someone with a goat mask, goat skull on their head. I don't know how much more they're going to use that motif, but it's a little questionable.
Yeah. Asuka just asked like two questions and then answered her own questions in the chat. Yeah, it's not out. It comes out. When does the single come out? It's not like I write for a site that reports this or anything.
April 25th, in like 3 days.
Oh man, really already?
Yeah, I'm looking at the description right now. I mean, it has a lot of dates in the description, like it's been this long since they've released a single, but yeah, it comes out on April 25th. So like super, super soon. They just uploaded, if anyone wants to see, they just uploaded scenes from recording the trailer of Manga no Kabaru. So like they know it's a big deal that this is coming out. It's like a mini documentary. It's 2 minutes long. But it's all
wow.
Japanese. Yeah. I sent you a link, Jeff, in our separate chat.
Oh, okay.
On the Google Hangouts.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember getting this. I'll do something with this.
Do something with this. It's all the way in Japanese, Jeff. Hope you understand.
I was gonna say I'll post it in the chat, but YouTube chat links seem to be garbage. So
YouTube seems to be garbage. I love you, YouTube.
Yeah, so I'm posting it there, but maybe I'll put the full title. So if that link doesn't work, then people can Google or search YouTube exactly what's in these quotes here. Okay, so yeah, and then the other thing is the B-side is a remake, right? I believe so. Of Ash.
Yeah, there's a couple of remakes on the B-side actually. It's coupled. The single is coupled with like 3 remakes or something.
No, I'm seeing Ash.
Oh, I'm seeing Ash. Yeah, remake version recorded on October 12th at Tokyo. But there's also Utafumi.
Yeah, it's the Utafumi one. That's the live from Zep Tokyo. That's what I'm seeing.
Ash remake version.
Ash is an actual remake.
Recorded. Oh yeah. Utafumi. Okay, yeah, Utafumi is the live recorded version. Got it. I'm just straight reading Japanese right now, and I suck at it. I'm trying so far. Yeah, there's something on there from the Mode of Gauze tour. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Do you want to review it, or can I jump on it?
You sound like you want to jump on it.
Well, yeah, I'm curious because like I reviewed RK and
no, you should totally jump on it.
Yeah, I want to follow it up.
I don't. Based on my depth of review, I'm still in college mode of make everything as wordy as possible so I can hit that page count sooner rather than later.
Okay, yeah. Then let me do that because I'm right in the middle of quick and efficient writing mode. So
let me get to summer. You know,
yeah.
Let me hit summertime first, and then I can do the more efficient reviewing of things.
Yeah. So so before we talk about like other things related to Darren Gray besides the latest news, I have a little bit of a game. Or not a game, just something fun. I picked out a bunch of photos of my favorite Darren Gray looks, like some of my favorite, and by my favorite, there's going to be like the craziest ones. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you guys have any requests in the chat that for any that I don't cover, because it's just a quick highlight reel, let me know, and I will go dig them up. But yeah, let me see if I can. Yes, nailed it. Figured out how to use the technology. Okay, so screen share. Where's my screen share? So yeah, these are going to be like just. I got a few other people's inputs, but let's. How's that? Like? I need to zoom in a little bit.
Put in that. Did you put in the Yukon look? Wow, you got the extra pan Coachella poster up there.
Yeah, I don't know how that got roped into this. I guess it's in my
low key extra promotion for an event that's already done.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, not yet.
Where is that from? Cage?
This one I'm not entirely sure about because
I recognize it. I can't remember what it's from.
Yeah.
Chat,
so,
what you think?
Chat, tell us if you know where this one's from. We got it. Oh, let me just message the person who.
You win my eternal respect. If you know where it's from.
To you sent from. But yeah, so in case you didn't know, Kyo had a cyber look. So cyber goth look. That's the Coachella. Ignore that. This one I couldn't get like a bigger version of. But hopefully that comes out okay.
I'm just catching up on that group chat. Oh no.
So this is I don't know what to say.
I remember that too. Oh yeah, that was when Kyo tried to have dreads, you know.
Yeah, trash compactor look is the best way. This is like beyond dreads though. This is like
it's visual K dreads. I don't know what else to tell you.
These are like dreads in their original like conceptual form where it was like cavemen like just having dirty hair and it bunching up.
This is like someone who saw what dreads were and thought they knew how to do it.
Yeah. So there's
this mask. What?
Oh, this? Yeah, what's going on here?
Is that Toshia or is that Kaoru? I can't.
I don't know. This is K-pop over here.
Kyo.
This is, I don't know what's going on here. This is just like a wig. It's very obviously a wig here. And then this is a different hairstyle, photoshopped in or something.
It's a different era. Shinya has a different era look entirely.
We're going to get like 18 dislikes from the Duran Gray fans.
We're about to get blacklisted by Duran Gray. Complete and total respect for this look. You pulled it off. You did great.
Okay.
You guys did amazing. Respect.
I
remember that.
This one's my favorite.
This is what made plaid Vogue. I swear to God. This look is what made plaid Vogue in Visual K.
This is what killed Hot Topic.
No, yeah. This is what
put them out of business. This is what put them out of business. Is he Hot Topic so hard that Hot Topic went out of business.
And I think that's Shinya over there. Right? No, I can't see.
Sorry.
Zoom out, my guy. Yeah, that is Shinya, the blonde. There's Dai, there's Toshia, then there's Kaoru.
I'm actually super down with this.
It's hard to tell which one he is. I don't know what else to say.
It's just when you're so hard that you wear you wear your heart and your flare on your sleeve. Oh man, but yeah.
No, respect for the look. You know, they were starting to pull it together. You got the '70s vibes going. You got the early thousands vibes going. You got your fringe.
Ghoul Scout in the
over
chat
here
says,
on Kaoru.
Ghoul Scout in the chat says it's called fashion. Look it up. Like in quotes, like that's what they're saying. You know.
Nice. Saku. Yeah. Shinya I know Shinya always looks normal compared to everybody else in these photos.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is from
Shinya looking totally out of place.
This is from the Filth single.
Yeah.
And this one is from the single for Miyaku.
Yeah. If you watch those music videos, they're very interesting. The Miyaku music video.
This one is, I guess, technically for, I mean, it's for Drain Away, but no, this one here.
Drain Away?
Yeah, this one was from Drain Away. I don't remember, but I thought Drain Away was the PV that came out with the album. I just don't remember off the top of my head that it's off of. Like, it's off of Withering to Death, I think. Or maybe it's not. Let me pull up their discography. It's off of Vulgar. It's off of what?
Vulgar.
Oh, it is. Okay. I would love if that was their official look for Vulgar, but
I think you got. So the plaid one is from Drain Away.
Yeah, the plaid one. That's what I'm talking about. Is it still up
there?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me. Sorry, guys. I'm hopping between 8 windows right now. Just making sure this is still showing up. Okay. Here's a oldie but a goodie. Doop doop doop.
Doop, doop, doop. Oh snap!
Yeah. Is it bad that I got so late to the party with this old school Durham Gray that I associate this like unconsciously with Unsraw more than I do with Durham Gray?
Oh, no. Jeff, you know, there was a time when Durham Gray was like just way more under the influence of Yoshiki than anything. And this is just kind of piggybacking off of it still a little bit.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I went ahead and put the new look in here just because it's pretty it's pretty great. You know, I think it's worthy of the list. You know, so this is the look we were talking about earlier with the stained hands and stuff. And is this a straw hat that he is wearing?
Is that?
Oh no, it's a bandana, I think.
No, that's zoom in again real quick. I think that's supposed to be that doesn't look like a typical bandana.
I see hair and then this.
I see his hair. I see things poking out of what is supposedly a bandana.
And then I see like some kind of like
it's opera, what's it called? Phantom of the Opera kind of look going on.
Some Les Mis cosplay.
We got some Tom v-kei over here a little bit. We got
yeah, so I think most people have seen this look. So let me jump over.
It's actually a really decent look though, because like I really like, I don't know how to explain.
Oh, really? Really? Okay. All right. I will.
It's more. Think about the last look they had, Jeff. This is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you. What I wanted to get to actually was
it's a step in the right direction this time.
I named it the file DEG_Zara because I've decided this is what happens when Durham Gray goes and shops at Zara.
This is their Zara ad.
This was their Zara shopping spree.
No, this looks like an advertisement for Zara. Is what it looks like.
VKH Live and Durham Gray are brought to you by Zara. That's a joke, YouTube. Don't get mad at me for not declaring paid promotion. It's a joke. It's a joke. But yeah, so this is VK, huh?
Are you talking about Toshia?
Yeah, this and this with my high school haircut here.
Those are the two models in the group. Leave them alone.
And I mean, the mouth here.
God.
And then back over to Utafumi. And yeah, I know the obscure look is the classic one, and so is what's it called, Saku. I guess we could go grab those, but I feel like that kind of style is summed up pretty well in this guy.
But you know, it's interesting. Kyo had the dipped hands in Utafumi, but it worked a lot better in Utafumi because he also had his face covered and his face was also red. So people kind of didn't really notice that his hands were red.
Yeah, this is true. And also, like, people are used to bloody hands.
Green.
Yeah, bloody hands in VK and all that. So
and now his hands are green, and we're wondering why the fuck are they green?
Yeah. Akai Sakiyuki said that they loved Utafumi. And I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
Single.
Yeah, so I think that's a good best of the best for now. Or most notable, I guess. Like most notable. Most notable.
Stop.
Okay.
Get banned from everything real quick, real fast.
I'm gonna stop. I'm done. I'm done with my salt. But
okay, compliments. Yeah. Shower them with compliments.
I loved RK. I really loved RK.
RK was a great album. Just so conceptualized. And they went really far with their branding for that too. Because they produced that sculpture for that thing, that creature that they had on the cover. They made that a thing for like one of their tour finals. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could see that in person.
Yeah, and it's very impressive how elegant they made something that is so technically like so fucked up, you know, because it's a you know what, let me screen share this. Just because it has been a couple years.
Yeah.
So,
I'll try and pull up the sculpture that I found.
I hope I don't have any. Okay. I'm gonna just close these out so I don't. Oh, by the way, that's that was my tab with Necrogoblicon in it. But yeah, let me know if this looks, if you can see this, Winona. I just full screened myself.
I can see it pretty well, but I think what makes it so trippy on this album is that it's turned sideways and you don't really like fully understand what it is until you see it. Even when you see it from the front though, because it's like under a waterfall in their other version of this album, in the limited edition version of this album. But it's like an impregnated creature, but made from like wood.
Yeah. So yeah, this would be Wikipedia.
Good luck with that.
So this is like one of the album covers. So it looks like a plant from afar or whatever. There is another one, like you said, where it is on its side.
It's that one.
This one?
No, it's the other one, the one you were showing initially.
Oh, well, I meant like turn 90 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
With the water surface. Anyway.
There's that one, but that was used as a promotional image.
Oh, it was a promotional image. So yeah, but basically what this is a decapitated corpse of a decapitated pregnant woman.
Well, kind of. It's
with
more
tentacles.
Of a creature. It's a creature.
I mean,
it's a pregnant Ursula. It's a decapitated pregnant Ursula. You know, just call a thing a thing.
Oh my god! Yeah, guys, just here. Let me lock the screen on. I just take in that decapitated pregnant Ursula.
Rather decapitated pregnant Ursula.
I hope you guys didn't eat before this stream. You should have known better. It's a During Gray stream.
Okay, maybe I'm pretty sure it's not just me, but I didn't think that this image was creepy at all. I just thought it was fascinatingly beautiful.
Oh,
I don't know what it is about me, but like I just live on the edge of fear and fascination. I can't watch horror movies for shit because they actually terrify me. But if I can just look at a thing, like if I just look at the sculpture of it or something, I'm fine. So this is like great. But if this started moving toward me, I'd be terrified. So.
Oh yeah, I mean it's objectively gorgeous, but when you if you're like me and you actually like the way that I think through what I'm looking at, even if it's like artistically done. It's just like, okay, what is that? It's decapitated, it's pregnant, and it has tentacles. And then I put that together on my own, and I get my own image of that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is where am I? What's happening? But
Dagland.
Dagland. I'm in Dagland. Help! I've fallen down the rabbit hole. This is not Wonderland. But yeah, that was absolutely, people were talking about in the chat, it was absolutely artistic album cover. And I agree, and I would extend that all the way to the album, man. Like, I was in a trance, like, while I was reviewing that album, because I just was listening to it on repeat, and just the whole album flows so well, and it's like haunting and pretty, and then like in some ways, and then like it, that's kind of what hooks you in, and then you're just it just kind of keeps you like mesmerized by like changing tones between, like, it'll be sorrowful one moment, and then like this uncertain kind of anxious, like foreboding is a good word for that, for certain songs in that album. And then it gradually gains steam and starts getting heavy and savage, and then, you know, it closes out as like pretty much classic brutal Duran Gray, as you know, as best as Kyo can do these days, which is still really damn good. Yeah, that was a fantastic album. So that whole shift that they went through after Dumb Spear of Sparrow, which was the album where they dropped Visual Kei temporarily and then came back. This was like the most Visual Kei album I'd seen from them in forever.
It's interesting because like I mostly want to talk about the Pool, how much influence they had over Visual Kei over the time that they were like still Visual Kei, and even through Doom Sparrow, because like when they had released that album and they like completely denounced Visual Kei, they kind of just started a whole trend of all these bands saying we're not Visual Kei, and just turning away from it, and then like making everyone really start saying Visual Kei is dead, like even Duran Gray is not Visual Kei anymore, and and then we changed our name because of that shit. but then they got bored, and then they went back to it, and it's kind of funny because like that situation, just that situation where over the years that they weren't Visual Kei, like you could see that they were like really trying to put what they did into their theatrics, into their music entirely. But then when they went back to it, they started going back to it, like when they went to release Renkaku, and then went and released Renkaku was the name of the mini album, right? That was the mini album they released. Then they went on their Ghoul tour, and they had released
I don't know if Renkaku was a mini album, but it was I thought it was a single, but The Unraveling was
the mini album, because they released Renkaku, they released Sustain the Untruth, that they released, and they released The Unraveling. Then they went on a tour, and they went on a tour through the US, and
Sustain the Untruth was the last last of those that came out. And it came out fairly close to when the album dropped. So
yeah, and that came out, and then they released Arche 2 years after The Unraveling, I think. And I just thought that was just such a spectacular album, because I personally, like, I liked Dumb Spear of Sparrow a lot, but Arche was just a significantly better album. Just I feel like in composition, because they leaned so hard into trying to sound so Western initially, and then they went back into doing what they could do, and took into account like what Kyo couldn't do. And man,
yeah,
Premonition was one of my favorite songs on there, and like I'm trying to think what was the other one. I can't remember the name of it. Just looking at Straight Kanji all the days, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that song. I like that song, and I don't remember the name of the songs at all.
Yeah, it was really interesting time, because really the two bands, you know, like a little bit after Rinkaku, maybe even Unraveling came out, like around that time, there were only like two bands that were really headed remotely in that direction, and it was Duran Gray with like their new stuff, and everyone was like, this is very different, but it's really interesting. And then there was DID, who was also kind of going for their own version of that like experimental, like atmospheric metal sound that, you know, basically like the avant-garde metal thing. But then DID disbanded or went on indefinite hiatus. They're disbanded as far as I'm concerned. Like there's no way they're
kind of like with Malice Miser's indefinite hiatus of, you know, 10 years.
Yeah, so really
years, like 17 years.
Yeah, basically. So, and then like, and really like, and even like, you know, like that kind of attempt, their version of those.
Not premonition, my bad. Phenomenon. I'm so bad. So bad.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Undo is a good. That's a good song too. I really like Undo. That was
yeah. Yeah. So. And even though that their form of that, like I guess avant-garde metal is how you would classify it. That kind of lives on in Dimlin a little bit. Like even now, like the Issei, who was the drummer from DID and Duran Gray, like he's gone. So there's like that influence has never been fully like explored, or that specific brand. So it was like, thank God, like, you know, Duran Gray, like, you followed it all the way to its logical conclusion and stayed together as a band, at least, you know. Like
they kind of have to.
Yeah, because we got such a treasure trove in Arke out of it, and then since then, you know, it's like Udafumi was really it was interesting. I wasn't into it at first, but then over time I got like really into it, because it's like it's almost like a happy medium between like where Arke was, which was very like much prioritized on like these lilting sounds and kind of, it's technically softer but still like very much like a metal album. And then like Dumb Spear Sparrow, which is like full on you know, extreme metal basically. And Udafumi's kind of sitting in the middle as like this really slick, heavy metal that still is got some avant-garde styles or like influence and stuff in it, even though it's at a very fast tempo and all of that. So so then seeing Ningen o Kao, how do you say it?
Ningen o Kaburu.
Ningen o Kaburu. Just kind of going off of what I've heard, you know, it does kind of sound like a old style Duran Gray song done with like this new style of just like extremely mature metal, that like you can't really quite dissect and be like, oh, it's like this and this, that's Duran Gray. But it's like at this point their sound really has gotten to this like one of a kind metal sound, I would say. And I think that's what's helped them stick out to so many like non-Visual Kei fans or like US fans and stuff in the metal scene. Because we both, Winter and I, we both know plenty of people who are into metal, not into Visual Kei or J-Rock, but have all heard of or aware of Duran Gray. They've just been, there's no, you can't be like, oh, it's Japanese Linkin Park, or it's Japanese Slipknot, or oh, it's Japanese this or Japanese that. It's just Japanese, this crazy experimental epic band.
No, a lot of it is that they, like, even when they stepped away from Visual Kei and established that they wanted to get into Western rock music, like when they started working with Korn and all that, like even though they started to like kind of emulate Korn, like they weren't Japanese Korn. They just kept doing what they did best. And that's one of the things that I keep like reiterating every time we talk about a Japanese band that tries to get into the States and then changes their sound to fit in. Like, they're not going to make it if they don't keep up with what got them popular in the first place. Like, yeah, it's going to get you more popular in the long run because you have this popular sound and you sound familiar, but you're not going to stick out, and then you're not going to be as memorable as you could be, because Duran Gray just is so specific and so memorable. And even as they're going back through all of their older sounds and like reinventing themselves right now, like because they're literally reinventing themselves, they're still gonna have that distinct metal sound, that distinct genre to themselves.
Yeah, I would definitely say like their earlier stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was obvious they were inspired by certain stuff, but it was still, it was still original and unique. And back then, I think the biggest selling point for them was like just the powerfulness of the songs. They were either like powerfully vicious or they were just like emotionally gripping. So even if it sounded a little bit like something you knew, you still were kind of struck in a very specific way. But now though, it's like they're kind of at a point where it's like it's so unique. It's like they're beyond reproach in that aspect. I can't think of anyone that they sound like. I can think of plenty of bands that maybe the Gazette sounds like, or that Mook sounds like, or that like pick any other successful and good or great or amazing Visual Kei band. You can see where their influences are. But if you were to like sit someone down and like have them listen to like Duran Gray's like releases from like Arche On, say, or even like from Arche On, like they're not gonna like tie it to something, it's gonna seem foreign, which is good, very good for Duran Gray. And I'm honestly of the opinion that like the thing that would get Visual Kei and Japanese rock music the most traction in the States is the novelty, or the foreign, not as in like they're Japanese, but like that their sound is different. Like I think that's always going to be the thing that's going to succeed. So if like the in thing for like the last few years has been like super weak ass alt rock and pop rock, and you come in with like you take that scenario, you maybe have something in your sound that relates to that, but then a bunch of other things that are completely foreign to that, i.e. metal music that plays around with pop elements or whatever, just as an example, like you're going to stick out. And in Duran Gray's case, they've just always stuck out because wherever they have been at in time, I always feel like they've just been out really trying something very, very different. And then, but just like fucking like going with it, like all the way, taking it to the mat, basically. Like, so
yeah, that's why they're so memorable.
Another thing is, I know I'm heaping praise on them with like Arche and stuff like that, but it's really just because like it struck me so much, because as far as like, in my opinion, it was a huge turnaround from the album before that, which was Dumb Spiro Sparrow.
No, it totally was.
Which like that was like where they were in dangerous waters, so to speak. The singles off of it are great. Like Different Sense is awesome, and Lotus is gorgeous.
Beautiful song.
And that other one with the long name that I'm not fucking saying is pretty good. I know
what you're talking about though.
Yeah, the PV for that's fucking great, by the way. Where they're all the band members are performing, and then like these flies come in and they just like eat off all the flesh on them as they're playing. It's good. It's pretty solid. But the album as a whole was like really underwhelming in my opinion. Maybe it's because I'm like not super into extreme metal, and this was like where they'd stopped and been like, all right, we've done extreme metal in the past. We've done wild, crazy shit, brutal, heavy shit. That's like, we're leaning into that. And it's like Western style in a lot of ways, like kind of thing. And so maybe it's just not my scene, but to me, that seemed like the least fresh, especially coming off of Ouroboros, which was the album before it, I think it would have been fine for an EP, but I think that's where they were in danger of losing the plot, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They started their turnaround.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm glad Different Sense happened. I'm glad Lotus happened, because those like, it's, again, this band's really hard to critique like in any way that it's like a devastating point to them, because it's like, I listen to Different Sense all the time, and I listen to Lotus all the time. So it's like, all right, I guess, you got something really good out of it at least. But I guess Ouroboros, you're just going backwards in time, I guess. I guess Ouroboros was really the album that like.
Oh, I love that album. That's the album that everyone got into, honestly.
The West woke the fuck up on During Gray when Ouroboros came out. If they weren't already awake, they were like.
It's because like Dozing Green was on there, and Glass Skin is gorgeous as a song, and like Red Soil is.
Red Soil is one of my favorite songs by them. It's like one of my top.
That's a live favorite for sure. And then they also released. It's the way that they released Ouroboros, I want to say, because they had a lot of songs in English on that album, and then they re-recorded them in Japanese also on that album as well. So it was really a very international album.
I'm sorry, I was glancing at the chat, but I don't know if you said Vinishuka is on there.
Vinushka is on there.
Or Vinushka, yeah.
It's a beautiful song. I love that song too. That's just a favorite. It's a fan favorite album. And then they also remastered Ouroboros too. And that's the remastered version of it is also on iTunes, but they don't have RK on iTunes yet.
Yeah. Which is really a shame. Like I don't know. Such a
beautiful album.
I don't know why it's not on there.
Like, come on, guys, just put RK up there. It's a great album.
I mean, like, I don't think if anyone watching hasn't like seen RK, I mean, based off of what we're saying and the album cover and stuff, if you go check out what those album covers look like, I think that's a really convincing physical copy purchase off of CD Japan or something. So I would buy it if you
could afford that $30 shipping.
Well, I mean, I can, but like I already have it. So like I'm saying like today I would.
Jeff's an adult and I'm not.
Yeah, something like that. Or I'm just like I'm an adult that makes poor spending decisions or something.
Makes poor spending decisions. He's an adult that's still a kid inside that shouldn't have money.
You pay cash like an adult, but you budget like a child. That's the strategy. That's what you,
I bet you buy the sticky hands when you go grocery shopping.
Yeah,
never. You slap around.
Oh man, that's something you need to like. That's a good life lesson, kids. Is never go shopping when you're hungry, or if you're high. Which kind of leads to you being hungry.
It's the same thing. But I wouldn't know. But
yeah. Oh well, from what I've heard, they are the same and different. Like if you're, these are things I've heard. But there's hungry, and then there's like having the munchies. But I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm a good Christian boy.
Good.
I'm a good little boy. What are your thoughts, Winona, about Marrow of the Bone?
Shit. I liked that album a lot. I don't know how else to describe it because I didn't get too into it. Because I got into Duran Gray. Okay, I got into J-Rock when I was like 11 or 12. Got really into it when I was like 13, and I'm 20 now. So you gotta try and count back and I didn't get super into Duran Gray because they were in that metal phase, and I just but they were in like that super like hard metal phase, and I just wasn't that into it. But I still went and saw them in 2011 anyway when Dumb Sparrow Sparrow came out. I guess that's when I got into them. Yeah, that's when I started getting into J-Rock, was when Dumb Sparrow Sparrow was coming out. So yeah. I'm a fake fan. No, I'm not a fake fan. I'm a fan. I just didn't get into Marrow of the Bone too much. But there were songs. I do know that there were songs on there that I heard a lot when I was still a hardcore listener of iHeartRadio.
Yeah, that was the one with Clever Sleazoid on it.
Yeah, Clever Sleazoid. I love that song. I'm trying to remember what else was on there. There were several songs on there.
Which is great because I believe Kyo has a grill in that PV.
I looked at Marrow of the Bone without putting Duran Gray and giving me medical things.
Also greatest English lyrics of all time, I guess. There's a lyric in there that's "One day I will fuck your parents."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's great.
I remember
that. Yeah. That's fun. That's
Agitated Screams of Maggots. Conceived Sorrow was one of my favorite songs That was definitely one of my top songs from Duran Gray.
Agitated Screams of Maggots was that was the first of those PVs from like where it was like that crazy illustrated
no, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right?
We talked about that before too.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they brought it back for Rinkaku. I mean, it was different, but like they brought
that style back for Rinkaku, yeah. For Rinkaku, they surely brought that back, and for the Unraveling, I think when the Unraveling came
out. No, the Unraveling was
after Rinkaku, I know, but like they added it. I don't know. They promoted it.
The Unraveling was technically the least Visual Kei PV they've done, I think.
That was because they hadn't gotten back into Visual Kei yet.
Yeah.
they were like still like borderline. Like when they released the Rinkaku, I remember they were still very much not Visual Kei. But then when the Unraveling came out, then they started to get bored. So then right when they went on their Ghoul tour, when they started doing their Ghoul tours, I'm wearing my shirt. They started doing their Ghoul tours. They like did all the makeup and everyone was like, what the hell? Like Kyo has like the skull painted on his face and everything. And it was crazy. And it was also so cool. And I'd seen them in 2011 and then again in 2013. And when I saw them in 2013, I remember like, I think we actually saw like Kyo smile on stage. We were like, yo, Kyo's smiling, whoa. Like he was actually happy. Whereas in 2011, when I saw them, they were like just so tired and done and like pissed because it was like, I don't know if it was because we were the end of the tour or what, but they were just like exhausted and they did not look like they were having as much fun. But in 2013, they looked like they were having significantly more fun. I think makeup made it more fun for them. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. It was just so... That PV was just so weird to watch Kyo because like he had this bowl cut thing.
But, that's when he first cut his hair, and everyone was like, "No!" Like all his hair was gone for Dumb Sparrow, and everybody was like, "No!"
I think my personal favorite album is "Withering to Death," which was the one that came out before "Marrow of a Bone."
Yeah, that's even more beyond me, but I know there are songs on there that I still like deeply enjoy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I rediscovered a lot of this much like more recently than the last time you would have listened to this stuff because I got into Duran Gray from like I mean I saw Obscure obviously, but like basically Dumb Sparrow on, and then like a couple years back I like went back and listened.
I can say that I love their song Macabre. So.
Oh yeah, and I'm still like
one of my favorites.
I'm still like cracking through like their indie stuff. Like I've listened to it a little bit, but
Yokon's my favorite song by Duran Gray. I'm that fan. I don't care.
They did
or not remake. Fan. I'm that enthusiast.
They did like this savage remake of Zan in 2011.
Oh yeah. I think they did that while they were doing their Mode of series.
Yeah, and that was so the original Zan I think came out. It was on Gauze, so it came out in 1999, and.
The final was on Withering to Death. I love the final.
Yeah. I'll get back to the final.
Okay. I just had to mention that.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
But it was just like brutal and savage and everything like that. The remake, because they were right in the middle of their like Dumb Sparrow levels of Kyo's screams, like they were just as deep and as nasty as they could get and stuff. And I was like, God, this is like insane. It's like, and eventually I was like, but I heard the remake first is why I'm bringing this up. So I was like, oh, I wonder what the original is like, because I looked it up and it was so old. I'm like, there's no way that I would like the old one better than this, because I'd seen some of their old stuff. They're just not as like hard or as heavy as they are now. And I like looked up the original Zan, and I like it like 5 times more than I like the remake. Like, I mean, they've just had like so many goddamn phases, like but they like nailed like so many of them, But yeah, so Withering to Death, I would say, is just probably my personal favorite, just because it's like it's their take on like my favorite. I mean, my personal like the era of American rock and metal that's kind of closest to my heart, because it's like what I grew up in and stuff, you know, like the rock from the 2000s and the new metal and stuff like that. But it's with their own like crazy ass like spin on it. But it's like there's enough connections that you can draw that it's like it's not totally foreign, that album to someone like in the West who grew up on like, you know, some really good solid rock music and some solid metal music and stuff. Like Merciless Cult is awesome. Saku's a classic, right? With that PV where Kyo's got the wild hair and the what do you call it? With the contact lens with the really like dilated pupils, and the kid kills his parents and stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah, I remember that.
The final is great, and then Kodo is that how you say that? Kodo? Say it again. Sorry. Kodo is I think that's my favorite Duran Gray song. And it's like this new metal spin on or it's like this Duran Gray spin on like what I would consider new metal, but it's just so slickly done, and it's passionate, and then Kyo like belts out like a Kyo style scream and like the bridge and everything, and it's so it's done really well to like, you know, shake that kind of a formula up just enough.
What about that good old Jesus R&R, Jesus Christ R&R?
Yeah, that's some funness too. So I know a lot of people point out
Higeki wa mabuta o oroshita yasashiki utsu.
I love how long it takes for us to say some of these sometimes.
That's because it's a long title. That was an actual long title. Then there's Kodoku ni Shisuyue ni Kodoku, which is actually also a good song. These are all good songs.
Yeah.
Just back then, Duran Gray was like, yo, like they didn't really think about their foreign fans when they named these songs. They were like, let's just put a whole sentence.
I want to say I liked Garbage a lot, but I can't quite recall what it sounded like. But yeah, so I know
Merciless Cult a lot.
Merciless Cult is like fucking great.
Yeah, I know I liked that a lot. And Spilled Milk. I don't know why. And Beautiful Dirt.
Yeah. So like, yeah, Withering to Death for me was like Vulgar 2.0. I know a lot of people like point to Vulgar, or they lump the two together, but
oh yeah, Vulgar.
I really feel like if they had made a literal Vulgar 2.0, it would have been a little too like, you know, a little too much like headed off towards like, you know,
right now, yeah.
Like Obscure doesn't remind you of Korn until somebody points it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the classic Dag song that sounds like Korn. I don't know how to explain that.
But it's just barely, you know.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's there just from the certain breakdowns and stuff. But it's like really what it is. I think one of the big factors is like it may sound like Korn like in the chords, but Jonathan Davis like does not sound anything like Kyo, you know. So it's pretty hard to be like this is a Korn knockoff when it's like no, there's some Korn songs and then this demon is the front man, you know, like that's always been like the big draw for me is Kyo's vocals, but you know. I think that's like the easiest thing if you're trying to give a 5-minute or like an elevator pitch of Duran Gray's. It's like you just pick the stuff where Kyo's like doing a bunch of crazy stuff with his vocals, or you know, or whatever. I think that really served them well once he's unlocked those skill points in his voice. But yeah, and that's about as far back as my personal like comfort. Well, we can talk about Vulgar a little bit for a second. Like Child Prey is obviously a classic, and like this is like what's so crazy about Duran Gray is that like some of their stuff, like newer bands are still we'll say emulating or
the lightest sense of the word of emulating.
All right, here's the range. It's inspired by, and then emulating. So inspired by emulating.
I'd say that the range goes from like, inspired, emulating, full knockoff.
Oh, okay. You outright said it. I put quotes around it to kind of like dog whistle.
But then there's like
this
one,
is a copy.
No, there's one that goes before inspired by, but I can't think of a word for it. There's something in between emulating and inspired, but
there's derivative is somewhere in there as well.
Derivatives, correlations.
Yeah. So
residual.
No, I don't
Maths. Quick maths.
Quick mathed by Durham Gray. But yeah, that's what's like so crazy is like even Child Prey. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 13, which is what's the vocalist and guitarist from Sadie. Like that's one of that's their current project, and I
still get line messages from that.
It's very, very. People are a little divided about that one. I'll just say I think we're divided about it at VKH. But the first single they put out was called Chainsaw, and if you play that right after listening to Child Prey, you're just gonna be like, "What the fuck, the 13?" Because it's like exactly the same. Like it's, so it's like people like bands are still being influenced by like stuff like that.
Emulating.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get as. It's hard for me to blast like any projects related to like the members from Sadie, because I really did enjoy Sadie before they went off the rails. But you get my point. But yeah, I think that's about as far back as I go with experience personally. Like I said, I'm still kind of coming through their indie phase. Let me check chat and see what they've had to say. But
chat, you've been in Durham Gray fandom longer than we have, or following Durham Gray longer than we have.
Well, not necessarily. I think we got a good mix of all experienced and new people in here.
Yeah, I've been in it for a long time, but I didn't actually get super into them until Dumb Sparrow, because I saw Obscure, right? And I was just horrified because I was like 12 and I was like, what am I watching? And that was my initial experience with Durham Gray.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually took me a few years before I could work up the nerve to like watch more than like a couple of Durham Gray PVs. Like they used to make me physically nauseous before. This was before I had like worked my way into being a metalhead and stuff like that. Like, now I'm at the point where it's like very few things surprise me anymore. Mostly thanks to Durham Gray, but RCK got the better of me with the pedo stuff in that. In Dokumowaru.
And Dokusakaru.
Yeah, they got the better of me there. That was the first time I'd been really.
That was wrong.
Yeah, but everything else, like the gore and stuff, like it was just...
No, we were desensitized from the gore, but it was like when we saw old dude jack off and then take the supposed cum in his hand and wipe it on the girl's face.
We're gonna move on. I don't know how YouTube handles like talk of this. Apparently they're okay with it because the PV's up still, but like
and nothing. All the wrong things were censored.
Yeah, all the wrong things are censored.
They're censored.
Like, dude, we're VKH fans. You don't need to censor the gore. You need to censor the pedo
actual things.
The pedo shit. Yeah, so if Durham Gray could not like do that, that's not something I want to be desensitized to, because desensitized would imply multiple exposure to. I don't ever want to see that again. But yeah, everything else, like all the gore and the like Obscure, really, watching that as many times as I did, and Saku and stuff, by the time I found like Kiryu all those years ago, and it was like they had put out, was it Shuka Ensign, where it was like this really gross girl, like undead cannibal girl that was like eating organs and stuff. It was like, all right, yeah, I've been here before. Still a little disturbing, but I was prepared for this. Yeah, basically. Asuka said that Kyo's bowl cut seemed kind of cute in her opinion. Like it was her.
I don't know what Kyo has now. I think it's like a mini bowl cut, like just even smaller.
He has what is called the "fuck me up fam" cut. Oh,
fuck me up fam.
Oh, you know what? You know what we actually have to do?
It's the "fuck my shit up fam" cut. That's what that's called, Jeff.
Laura from J-Rock Vault is in the chat. Laura, I'm going to.
What's up, Laura? She said she's been into During Gray since 2000, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, yeah, she's a pro. Okay, Laura, she's gonna know what I'm saying when I say this, but I'm gonna take that comparison of Kyo that you brought up. I'm stealing that, but I'm giving you credit right here that you made a great comparison for Kyo's current look. Yeah, let's see. Asuka says one of my first was Dead Tree in 2007, 2008, but completely forgot about them. Became a fan after I found Hagashisa in 2010.
Oh, Hagashisa. That's the really long one on Dumb Sparrow that Jeff was talking about. That's also one of my favorites. Love that song.
Yeah. Katie H says, I remember all the cringy reviews of this album. I think she's talking about Withering to Death and Vulgar, or both probably, because she says, I remember all the cringy reviews of this album that wouldn't stop mentioning Hello Kitty and Pokemon references. So that's like the Western reviews. Yeah, the Western reviews of During Gray. Yeah.
East tweets West. East doesn't know what the fuck to do. I mean, West doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, there was we're very, very culturally insensitive as a country, and at that point, I think, especially towards Japan.
America is super culturally insensitive, and we try to change that as much as possible.
Yeah, so it's a little better now, and people are like more normalized to the fact that there's really good music outside of America. What?
I think it's because BTS was just like, yo, what's up? What's happening? What's good?
Well, yeah, and the other thing is like K-pop fans like wouldn't stop like promoting it.
They would not stop. And J-Rock fans need to be the same way.
Yeah, basically. So here's the thing. There's a few different ways that you could call Kyo's current hairstyle. Should I pull up an image just for because you're talking about because he has like multiple angles, but
is it
like
his street fashion? Because his street fashion is like K-pop-esque. Not gonna lie, but
yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, sorry guys, I had some images prepared, but I lost them during technical difficulties. They're on a different account now. But what I can do is let me pull up the PV, and I will just find and pause and then screen share on like what I'm specifically looking for, and that should be fine. Here we go. Got it. It's also the promo picture for this article, but here's the reason that I'm I'll explain why I'm making a point of this in a second. So this, right? Yes. So there's a few things you could call this, right? You could call it the, how's that look? Looks okay. You could call it the fuck my shit up fam look. Is the other. I don't
need a haircut for a long time.
Also the Mark Zuckerberg, because he.
No.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah,
it's a little longer than a Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm gonna lock the screen on your beautiful face for a second, Winona, because I have a surprise so I'm just gonna. So
you didn't get this pretty for nothing. Oh no! No! You know.
So
why would you do
this? So what do you guys know about the Ant word?
No. Let me see. Jeff's gonna fuck you up, fam.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Oh, I'm mad that it's that exact. No.
what do you think of that, chat?
That's very accurate. That's very accurate.
Exhibit A, exhibit B.
I think we know. I think we know influence from this haircut right now.
Exhibit B.
I think he's gonna want to grow his hair long. I think
Ah.
one of the band members is gonna end up being Ninja.
Oh God. Well, yeah, two of them already dress like normies, so I mean,
Exactly. They're all gonna be Diane Wood and Ninja during Gray.
yeah. So that's
Giant Ninja.
yeah, that's us because like all the nope though.
No, the nope. Yeah, no, that was me.
Laura
Oh.
says that is like the worst screen cap of her ever. Yeah,
It
well,
is, but it fits. Fits the bill.
it's also every fifth screen cap of her
It
is like.
really is. It's the face she makes in like every music video.
And yes, Laura, you did say that, like, and I because I was so
Just
profoundly impacted by it because I do listen to a lot of D'Antwoord, and I couldn't believe
I'm
I didn't
mad
pick up
because
on it.
I agree, and I also didn't think about that because I also listen to a lot of D. Good.
Oh God. Okay. Anything else? What should we cover next? Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about in terms of? I mean, we've covered their discography and we've mentioned that they influence stuff. Or influence other bands? Did you have anything else you wanted to get into on that, or?
Trying to think about that. I'm trying to think about bands that I know that they influenced. I really don't have anything like because I know that the time that they said they weren't Visual Kei anymore, a bunch of bands just ended up being influenced straight up by the Gazette. That's all I can say because they hopped off the boat and now they jumped back on, and it was kind of funny because at the time that they stopped being Visual Kei, I think J Mello still called them Visual Kei, and then they went back to being Visual Kei.
That was also the time that any semblance of them being mainstream metal like vanished as they like got closer and closer to putting out Arcade. So it was like all avant-garde. It's not something that like an indie band would feel comfortable like emulating to any degree. Whereas the Gazette with Dogma, they stepped in and they planted their flag in mainstream metal basically for that period of time. So that's where that shift happened. But I know that Ligro was directly inspired by Duran Gray, and that is, for those of you who don't know, that is a very that's a very beloved band that has been very troubled and has had a roller coaster ride that has just gone off the tracks and crashed for good, it seems. But
both me and Jeff.
They put out this PV for like a single called Higabana that was probably their like most significant one. That was like back in 2013, and there you can tell it's inspired by Duran Gray, but they somehow have their own sound that it doesn't feel like, oh, they're copying Duran Gray, and they just did it really well. And it was, it was a small band, so it was like a low budget PV, but it's like the concept was really good, and the visuals were pretty spot on, and the song was like just A1. And then they just had so many problems, like they lost like 3 or 4 of their members, like one after the other, and then they went on an indefinite hiatus, and then miraculously they came back 4 years later. I actually brought them up on this live stream, and or not this, I mean on the second live stream or third live stream I think we had, where it was the group therapy session for fans of disbanded Visual Kei bands, and I was like, see, because there's hope, because they're back after 4 years, because the vocalist had come back and he'd gotten like 4 new band members, and now we just have news. They'll be up on our site soon, but it's just bam, out of nowhere, vocalist like didn't feel like continuing it, something like that, and he left the band, and the new album that they were going to put out is canceled, and the band's disbanding. It's like, fuck, but everything. But that was a band that was directly inspired by Duran Gray, done the right way from the newer music that they put out, especially. It all seemed really solid, which is why a lot of us are very like shell shocked by the fact that we're not getting full album of it now, or ever. But so that's one example. I think another high profile example is Sadie's album that they had.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
What was it called?
It was the one where like they like did like knockoff Obscure, right?
In one of the PVs, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Can't remember the name of it right now, but
Madrigal de Maria is the name of the album, and then there were two songs on a single that came out before. One was Madara, and the other one was Setsugeka.
Setsugeka.
And Madara was the one where he kind of had the white contact lenses with the dilated, like, I say dilated, but it's, you know, it's like a really small pupil that, like, you know, would move around and stuff. And there were a lot of eyes, you know, edited in the background and creepy stuff like that. That one, like, I to this day, like, James and I, and you, I think too, Winona, like here at VKH, we're all like kind of still trying to figure out exactly how we feel about them doing that album.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty good. Like the Requiem was, or the Requiem was, like that was the PV track for the CD for the album when it came out, and like all of those, like a lot of those songs were really good, but you could just really tell exactly where they were getting inspiration from on that. So it's a little, you know, yeah, that one was that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a final verdict on if that's a good or bad. I think they were a little bit too derivative.
I think we ever really reached a final verdict on that album. We were just like the whole time that we were listening to it.
Yeah.
Even now, we're just like.
Yeah, it's very. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure the stream's going. Someone said what happened in the chat. I don't know. Okay, anyway. BOGTF is something no one wants to talk about. What is that? I forget which. Hold on, let me.
I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up on the things.
Blood on the dance floor? Why are you guys talking about blood on the dance floor in the chat on the Durgray chat?
Guys, that is not relevant.
Oh, wait. Okay, not so fun fact. Davy Vanity. Sorry, guys, I'm reading them in reverse. Not so fun fact. Davy Vanity of Blood on the Dance Floor claims partial inspiration from Durgray visually. Kill myself. No, that's awful. Why would you share that with me?
Why? Where? When? No.
I
message retracted.
Yeah. I wish he would retract that quote that he made, the Davy Vanity guy. Yeah. I think you freaky. There's a couple I think you freakies in here from the Dant word. So
Zucked. Oscar put Zucked in the chat. After Yolandi. It was funny.
Yeah, that's he got Zucked. Yeah, for sure. So so yeah, moving forward it'll be really interesting because like this they've kind of like been going through this, you know, phase since Arcade where it's like they're not really inspiring any bands just because they are so much off on their own. And even in their solo projects like Kyo and Suke Kyo, like who's gonna take, like there's no inspiration to be taken from that because it's so unique, right?
It's Kyo.
Yeah.
Just Kyo. I mean, it's Kyo's like solo project, but it's literally Kyo as an artist.
Yeah.
In Tsukikyo, because he put, I think he also did something with his drawings for that too, and that became a whole thing and got some line stickers and stuff. So, and he did something with his poetry for it too. Yeah. There's nothing that can't, I don't think that's gonna influence, I think people can be influenced by it, but nobody's gonna be able to emulate it. It's so specific. I don't.
But this next song it definitely sounds like something that it's like they're interfacing with a little bit less of an avant-garde and a little bit more of a familiar set of song styles and stuff. But it's still coming like from, you know, like Kyo singing, and the vocals are like the cleans that I heard in there are fucking powerful as hell and fantastic and all of that, you know. So it's not like they're going mainstream or anything. That's not what I'm getting at. But like it's definitely a more familiar sound than like these crazy like art experiments that have been their last few singles and stuff. So I'm excited. Wonderful. I'm excited to see how they apply what they've learned from that to like these like passionate, like, you know, sounds from like these like hard, like, or from like these heavy metal, or like, I keep wanting to call it new metal, but it's too heavy to be new metal. You know what I mean? But it's like that, like I said, my favorite track personally from Durngray is Kodo, which isn't necessarily like super heavy, but it comes off hard in certain parts. But it's like the actual song structure is basically a new metal song structure, but then done heavier and like with more passion than you would see from your average new metal band. And I know the average new metal band in 2018 is zero. There's zero new metal bands, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, I'm really excited to see them basically tackle like a more traditional song structure and just like include all these foreign elements that they've kind of gotten used to at this point. So it'll be really cool to see what happens and all that. So, but if you don't have anything else, I think we could probably go ahead and wrap up. I just realized what time it is.
It's 2:42.
Yeah, I did my. I'm so like out of it that I was like thinking that we were only at an hour, but we're actually at an hour and 40. So yeah, I was panicking for nothing, I guess. But
it's like an hour and 20 because we started late.
Ghoul Scout says, I'm here for nun bands, LOL. Well, we covered two, because there's Kyo and Suki Kyo, and then Sadie in Rosario in the PV for that. One of the guitarists was in a nun outfit. So we brought up two of them. So yeah, there you go.
True.
VKH Live is your official one-stop shop for nun bands.
Oh my god. You want Catholicism and Visual Kei? We got you, fam.
Yeah. Well, it's more like the rampant ridiculing
get
and
that
mocking.
Jesus Christ R&R.
Yeah.
And withering to death.
Yeah, it's not sacrilegious at all. It's like genuine imitation of like the core values of the Catholic theology. Yeah, it's absolutely what it is.
Totally that. And dogma from the Gazette. Yeah, 100%.
Guys, the upside down cross isn't a sign of disrespect. It's so you can see the cross from all angles.
An upside down cross is just the cross that you do on your body when you do.
Oh, man.
We need to stop. Okay.
Yeah, we can stop. We can go ahead and stop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll go ahead and wrap up, but before we stop, just a couple quick things. In the description is a link to our giveaway contest that we're doing. This is a hard shift from Durngray for a lot of people, but we're giving away. Speaking of Durngray, we're giving away Miyavi tickets.
So yeah, even speaking of a Visual Kei band that turned away from Visual Kei for a good hot minute. We're giving away tickets to another artist that turned away from Visual Kei for a good hot minute.
Bring it home, fam.
Done.
There you go.
Did it. Go enter the giveaway and earn your chance to win 2 free tickets to see Miyavi live in the US. We're only giving away 2 pairs.
Yeah, exactly. All you gotta do is you just put your email address in the box.
Give us all your personal information and we'll sell it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You use your email address or you click the sign in with your Facebook button, and then what that does is it. What?
Basically, them just giving us all their personal information, and we're
No. It's whichever one you do. It just takes the email address that you put in, or the Facebook email, your Facebook email, and it signs you up for our weekly newsletter that that you'll get once a week with like a quick summary of all the big news and stuff. So that happened this week in JRock and Visual Kei. So it's a great way to stay up to date, and you know, in case you're busy for a week and you miss out, you'll have all the highlights there. But that's all you have to do, and then you're entered in. But then there's a lot of other things that you can do that will give you additional entries to win. On top of that, like following us on social media, subscribing to the YouTube channel,
clicking a link every day, commenting. Do we have a comment on the post set up? I don't think we do.
No, but we have a lot of stuff. So go click there and
follow our podcast.
Yeah, and just follow the instructions on there, and you could win. And make sure you do everything you can to like max out the you know, the chances of you winning. We'll go ahead and peace out. And
I say that, Jeff. I say peace out because that's my name.
No, I'm taking it from you now. So
you can't. It's my name.
It's officially time to stop because Asuka's yawning. So that's how we've gone all the way.
Oh, damn.
Thanks to everyone for coming out so late.
That's so boring that Asuka's yawning.
Yeah. So we had a really crazy schedule. I've been sick for the last day and a half, and Winona was out of town. So,
I was out of town and dealing with internship shit.
Yeah. So, but I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat and watching, and so it's good. It's welcome to everybody who's new. Make sure you hit subscribe. And
Laura said, "How am I not subbed to this newsletter?" Because you were focused on getting everyone else subbed to your newsletter. Fine. Which is fine, you know.
Yeah, we're double backing and catching up.
Trying to get everyone subbed to your newsletter. It's fine, you know. Now it's your turn to return the favor. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, sharing is
caring.
Yeah. All right. And with that, peace out.
No. Oh my God. I'm so mad. No.